corner. I want to remind you to stop into the liquor spot each and every Saturday. That will be today at 5 p.m. Eastern on YouTube on the liquor spot to hear the queens chop it up about boxing, MMA, and relationships. Now, straight to the video. I've seen people kind of confused about what's going on with Teofimo and this George Kambosos Jr. people call character because they don't know who he is. So I'm going to bring shine just a little bit of light on the situation. Now, Teofimo has a few choices. Teofimo can just drop everything and move up. He could stay at 135, fight is mandatory, then move up, or stay at 135 and make history and become the real undisputed champion at 135, which no one in history of boxing has ever did. All he has to do is fight Devin Haney, get the real, official, original WBC belt. I understand people don't care. People are looking at it like he really is the WBC champion because of whatever Marisa Masulian, or whatever his fucking name is. Because of what he said, excuse my language, but because of what he said. But even though what he said about that franchise title has changed quite a bit, maybe about 3 or 4 times, in the day that the franchise title came out, he was bombarded with questions from people trying to get interviews, and he couldn't even answer them. So let's just go with what's been going on. That WBC title has been around for decades with an S on it. The WBC franchise title is something brand new. So, according to real fighters, retired fighters, and actual real hardcore boxing fans, the WBC title is the original title. That is the title you have to get to be undisputed, period and point blank. So, now, like I said, nobody's ever been an undisputed champion at 135. Teofimo has the chance to make history in a major way. All he has to do is fight and win against Devin Haney. But if that's not what he wants to do, it's been said, and I do agree, you're not really a champion until you defend that title. So even though he's got the titles by simply beating Comney to be in the spot, which I said Comney was going to be a quick fight, 3 or 4 rounds, and I was right. He was in the spot when he beat Comney to fight against Lomachenko. That made him in the running to get that fight, is by beating Comney. After he beat Lomachenko, he got all of those titles. I understand he got the IBF from Comney, but he beat the man and became the man. He didn't do any heavy lifting at 135. He fought nobody besides Comney. I want everybody to realize that. He fought nobody before he fought Lomachenko. And yes, I was saying that he was going to beat Lomachenko a year and a half before that fight took place. When people were saying, oh, I don't know, Ashley, I don't know. Those same people saying, I don't know, was going for Lomachenko to lose against Lopez, but only 2 months prior before the fight. So ding ding, yeah, it was me. I've been saying that Teofimo was going to beat Lomachenko. And I'm only saying that to let y'all know I am not biased in what I'm about to say and what I've been saying this whole entire time I've had a channel. But the first option is Devin Haney to make history. I don't think he's doing that. The second option is he has to at least defend those titles to actually, that's just his saying. You got to defend those titles. That actually makes you champion is when you defend your title. So he's going to have to defend it. If he's just third option, if he just drops it and move up to 140 just to get the benefits of having those titles and be able to challenge champion at 140, I'm gonna look at it as whack. Like, that's whack as shit. You did no heavy lifting at 135. You fought a slower Comney that I knew you were going to knock out. You beat the man to get all the titles but one, and then moved up without making history. I think that shit is weak as hell. So he should fight somebody. If he plans on just moving up, he should take a fight. And if he wants to keep those titles to move up to fight another champion at 140, fighting Devin Haney could be a loss. All right, I have 80% Devin Haney winning that fight against Teofimo. I have Devin Haney winning against Teofimo. And maybe he feels a little nervous. Maybe his pops feeling a little nervous, because one thing I do know about their family, they love to talk shit. Hell, Teofimo, he admitted that he likes talking shit. So why would you, if you knew you were going to beat Devin Haney, why would you make history? Something that nobody's ever did. Ever did. Ever did. Why wouldn't you do it? If it was somebody that you could just beat easily, he would, ladies and gentlemen. He would, and his father would make him do it and would talk about it, and the next takeover would be Devin Haney. But it's not like that, because he's not going to beat Devin Haney. He's not. He's not winning against Devin, dog. He's just not. And when that man said, when he fought that Japanese fighter that had that 71-inch reach and he was like 5'11", he was like, yo, thank goodness we don't have to fight no more tall guys. No more tall guys. He was just too long, the same reason why he looked horrible in that fight, and he did win a 12-round decision, is the same reason why Lomachenko was scared to throw a punch for the first 7 rounds. Let that sink in, okay? Or he can just not fight anybody and just take this like a badge of honor and bang on his chest like he King Kong and a king of the world because he beat a smaller Lomachenko. That's the reason why I knew he was going to win, and I knew it wasn't going to take a bunch of boxing ability to do it. People were telling me, oh, well, Lomachenko, it's going to be hard to hit him. Did it look like it was hard to hit him? Y'all really need to get out of this fantasy world, yo. The reason why people look like that against Lomachenko is because they were smaller than him. Tio was bigger than him. You see how that works? You see how what Lomachenko's been doing to these smaller fighters, how it worked on him? Y'all can't even accept the truth. It's crazy. And people don't even want to believe me. I made a video about what Lomachenko was going to do after he lost, and I'm probably going to be right, because we still don't know what he's going to do. I'm probably going to be right. You can check that video. It was a few weeks ago. That's in my bio. What's up? Like, when it comes to these little weights, like people like calling them, I kind of know what I'm talking about. But let's get right back on to the specs. Well, let's go on to the specs. George Kambosos Jr. has 19 wins and 10 knockouts. He's fought for 118 total rounds. His knockout rating is 52.63%. He's 27 years old. He's 5'9.5", supposedly. I don't know how true that is, but he's 5'9.5", and he has a 68-inch reach. And in December 2019, he dropped Mickey Bay and beat Mickey Bay in a 10-round split decision fight. Okay, and yes, Mickey Bay is the so-called trainer right now for Devin Haney. Yeah, this fight happened last year, and you can see the highlights on YouTube. This guy is a worthy foe to let people know he's not a straight up bum. And just because you don't know him doesn't mean he's a tomato can. You know what I'm saying? Because honestly, like, I'm not even gonna go there. I'm not gonna go there. But he's coming off a win versus Lee Shelby. That was a 12-round split decision win. And Lee Shelby's very big for 135. I didn't really notice that until I seen him in the ring with George Kambosos. He's really big for that weight class. Teofimo Lopez has 16 wins and no losses. He has 12 knockouts. He's fought for 72 rounds. He has a knockout rating of 75%. He's 23 years old. He's 5'8" with a 68.5-inch reach. Now, if you ask me, I think they're probably the same height. I wouldn't give him 5'9.5". George Campbell's 5'9.5", because George trained with Pacquiao, and they were standing next to each other. He was probably like an inch and a half taller than Pacquiao. So, you know, they probably around the same height. You see they have, you know, George got a few more fights than he do. He got a few more rounds than he does. You know, this is kind of a even match make. Both of them are in their 20s, around the same height. They have the same reach. This could be a all right fight, ladies and gentlemen. But it's good. Has mm, kind of bad defense. His defense is not up to par. He keeps his hands down just like Lopez keeps his hands down. He is a counter puncher. He does have fast hands, and if Lopez keeps his feet moving, I would say he wins the fight because of George's bad defense. But this could look like a Lopez versus Comedy where George gets stopped during exchange quickly in the fight, or George could use what he knows, and make this fight a chess match, and not just go out there and slug with Lopez. But yeah, he did some training with Manny Pacquiao, and he is the Mando for Teofimo. Um, Kambosos can win this fight though. I believe he can. Uh, Lopez doesn't really move his feet anyway, and Lopez been on the high ever since he won against Loma. So I mean, who knows if he's taking George seriously, and he should, because he could get beat by George Kambosos and everything go down the crapper. But if he does get beat by Kambosos, I believe he's going to want a rematch, want to win that fight, and then move directly up to 140. He wants to continue talking his shit. We don't want to take no L. That's why he don't want to fight Devin Haney. It's crazy. But I think Tio really wants to quit 135 while he's ahead. I really think he just wants to move up to 140, but he knows he got to defend them titles at least once. At least once, bruh. Um but he's ahead now at 135 because he does have the IBF, the WBO, and the WBA titles in 16 fights, and that is a big thing, but it could be even bigger if you just win one more fight. And it's crazy because if you go on BoxRec right now under Teofimo Lopez, he does not have that WBC title. He doesn't have the WBC title. He don't have no franchise WBC title. There's nothing about it. And if people saying, "Oh yeah, he's still gonna be undisputed," he's gonna have an asterisk beside his name, yo. It's not gonna be no full undisputed title. And George already talked about how nobody in Australia, because he is from Australia, and he signed with Lou DiBella. Lou DiBella is who he signed with. He signed with him, I think, in April last year. Um, yeah, like this is making history. Just winning the titles that he has, and not even undisputed, just winning those three titles or whatever is something nobody's done in Australia. So, or at that weight class or whatever, that's something that Kambosos was saying. And he is somebody that was born and raised in Australia. He's the face of Australia, is what he was saying. And I really think if he does win them titles, he will fight Devin Haney for the history books, because I can tell by how he talking. It's all about history and legacy and something that's never been done in this country. He'll fight Haney if he beat Teofimo. I guarantee you he will. All right, win or lose, you will be in those history books for undisputed. All Teo and Devin Haney need to do is make it happen. Their names will be in the books whether they win or lose. Rather, whoever wins or lose, I should say. But yeah, it's like I said, this could be a very good fight, very interesting fight, and I'm rooting for George Kambosos, and or I am rooting for the lightweight division altogether, and me just being a fan of the lightweight division, because this division ain't doing shit with Teofimo having them belts right now. Ain't doing a damn thing, because he ain't gonna fight nobody unless he's just moving up to 140. And I believe this is what he's going to do. I believe he fights George Kambosos Jr. to defend those titles, and then he moves up to 140. But always like and subscribe to the channel. I got Kambosos in fight just because I want to see undisputed at 135. Peace.